$70 a barrel. Iran warning the U.S. not to retaliate. President Trump expressing his frustration with the lack of help from NATO allies at their meeting in Turkey. More from ABC's Karen Travers traveling with the president.
He started right out in his first on-camera appearance expressing that frustration with European leaders in NATO, talking about how he asked them to get involved in the war with Iran and used it as almost a loyalty test. Those countries, of course, did not budge and did not help the United States. The president saying we spend billions and billions of dollars in NATO and they need to help the United States. Now, of course, that's not what the NATO military alliance is for, and those countries made that very clear every time the president asked for that assistance.
9 Americans have now been confirmed dead in the aftermath of the major earthquakes that hit Venezuela last month. More than 3,000 bodies have been found, only a fraction of the 40,000 reported missing. Engineers are being called to the former Pfizer building in Manhattan, leaning after 2 beams buckled during conversion to apartments. The FDNY is fearing a partial collapse. That area is evacuated. You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-970-3355. That's 800-970-3355. 800-970-3355.
Well, Lionel Messi's done it again at the World Cup. The Argentinian great scoring once, inspiring his team to a 3-2 victory over Egypt, despite trailing by 2 goals with just 11 minutes to go. Tennis, U.S. Open, American Coco Gauff defeating fellow American Jessica Pegula. ABC's Mike Dubusky says the next Olympics probably will include Russia.
Many more Russian athletes are likely headed to the upcoming Summer Olympics in 2028. This after the International Olympic Committee lifted a suspension that had only allowed a small number of Russian athletes to compete under a neutral flag. The IOC imposed that suspension following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Ukraine President Zelensky is due to meet President Trump at the NATO summit, likely asking for Patriot missile defenses. Trump says he spoke with Vladimir Putin and thinks Russia wants to make a deal to end the war. While Taylor Swift honeymoons, a federal judge in Florida has dismissed a lawsuit against her by a poet who says that Swift stole themes and ideas from her poetry. Kimberly Marasco named several songs, including The Man, which he says infringed on her poem Ordinary Citizen, which reads, I'm running behind, you say it's his word against mine. The Taylor Swift lyric goes, I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. These are quintessential themes, says the judge, not protected. Wayne Cabot, ABC.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Tom Ortloff from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, July 7th. Clallam County Commissioners holding a required mid-year budget review later this month. But one commissioner says he hopes the presentation will help dispel rumors the county's going bankrupt. The public hearing set for Tuesday, July 28th, 10:30 a.m. at the courthouse. Finance staff will there present budget results from the first 6 months of the year, along with projections for the rest of 2026. But during a work session yesterday, Commissioner Randy Johnson said he's heard claims that the county's on the verge of bankruptcy. He wants staff to include a simple summary explaining the county's current financial picture.
And I say this only because I had several comments with me. I think, where are they getting this information that says that we, the county, are about to go bankrupt? I mean, I don't know for the life of me where that came from. And where I'm going with this is maybe if we could have a one-pager on top of all the detail, just because I would certainly like to send that information to some other people.
A Deputy Chief Financial Officer Rebecca Turner said the rumors may stem from broader financial challenges facing counties across the state. She did acknowledge the county can provide a one-page overview to accompany the more detailed budget report that's coming out.
Yeah, I would say I don't know where that specific comment is coming from. I know there's been talk around the financial state of many counties.
Commissioners noted the county does face some long-term financial challenges, though. However, they said that July 28th review could provide the public with an updated look at the county's current finances and where it is headed. County's charter requires the mid-year report. Well, the 4th of July celebration in downtown Port Angeles being hailed a resounding success this past weekend. Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Mark Abshire, dropped by our Morning Scramble program yesterday with a review of what was one of the city's biggest celebrations on the 4th ever. The weather was good, the waterfront district packed with people all day and into the night, and Abshire reports the grand finale did not disappoint.
I think it might have been the biggest fireworks show Port Angeles Harbor's ever seen.
Yeah.
I think. It's the biggest one we've done. Yeah. I know that.
Part of the credit for the spectacular fireworks show goes to the residents of the visiting private cruise ship, The World. They donated $10,000 to help fund the show. Abshire said it was the first time the globe wandering vessel has ever spent the 4th of July in the USA, and they chose to do it here in Port Angeles, and not as observers from the decks of the ship either.
They were involved, yeah. So first of all, they have their pastry chef was one of the judges for the apple pie baking contest, which was fantastic. And then one of their crew members was one of the winners of the hot dog eating contest.
More news after this.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Make this the summer you start to relax and feel better right in your own home. During our All-American Soak, Swim, and Sauna event, enjoy liberating savings on a saltwater hot tub, swim spa, or sauna, with up to 3 years to pay for it interest-free. A soak or swim under the stars, a sauna after a long day. Celebrate feeling better today. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Caviar Jewelry is ready to meet all your jewelry needs. Our beautiful store at 2416 East Highway 101 Suite B in Port Angeles is energetic and inviting. We shop discount wholesale vendors so we can bring the savings to you. Sharon consults with you directly for jewelry repairs with most done in-house. Annie offers appraisals for your beloved pieces. We're open 10 to 6 Tuesday through Saturday. We love being part of the community and look forward to serving you.
In other news, the Native Youth Generational Leadership Summit was held in Port Angeles recently. It brought young Native people from across the country together to build community, learn about substance use prevention, and practice some everyday skills. Isabel Charlet has more.
The summit was hosted by the Lower Elwha, Clallam, and Spokane tribes with support from the American Indian Health Commission. Tia Skirbeck with the Lower Elwha Clallam Tribal Council says the 2.5-day summit included traditional practices that not all Native young people get to experience, like storytelling and talking circles.
We rely on those teachings and those practices to help carry through the prevention messages that we're sharing with the youth and helping them develop some skills to become resilient. They're not just little kids running around. They're our future leaders.
Skirbeck adds the youth also shared what issues they would like to see their communities prioritize. She says while the summit was focused on youth, it was multi-generational and included elders who offered guidance and support. Audrey Gales is a 19-year-old Lower Elwha Clallam community member. Gales' auntie, Jacqueline Saliers, was killed by police in 2016. She says learning about issues related to missing and murdered Indigenous people and women while calling for justice for her auntie and all Native victims of violence is close to her heart. She's been to a number of similar events over the years and encourages other young people to attend.
Especially if you're Indigenous and it's a Native summit, always attend. It's always worth it. You learn so much, meet so many people.
She adds another highlight was learning how to make a salmon net out of stinging nettle and celebrating the return of fish populations to the Elwha River after her tribe led the campaign to remove 2 dams there.
Impending anniversary of last year's devastating Bear Gulch fire comes with some new news for campers and hikers eager to get back into those areas. On July 8th, the Olympic National Forest and Olympic National Park will reopen the Staircase Campground, day-use sites along Lake Cushman, and several trailheads along Forest Road 24, including Mount Rose. The announcement comes a year, almost to the day after the human-caused wildfire began July 6th last year. You may remember how the fire smoldered throughout much of last summer, burning through the steep terrain of the Olympic Mountains. Over 20,000 acres were torched, the largest blaze on the Olympic Peninsula since 1951. It was not fully contained until November. Meanwhile, the latest on the Mount Tom Creek fire in the Hoh Rainforest. That blaze now at 68 acres. It's 0% contained. Fire activity for the fire is expected to remain active for some time as it burns through steep and heavily forested terrain. As for smoke, most places in the forecast areas should have good to moderate air quality over the coming days. However, officials said that the wind direction had shifted a bit, and smoke from separate fires to the north and east could drift into the area, with potential impacts felt here in the Port Angeles area. A proposed Canadian oil pipeline is raising concerns in Washington over the potential for increased tanker traffic through the Salish Sea. Alberta officials announced plans for the new pipeline capable of moving 1 million barrels of crude oil a day to a proposed export terminal near Vancouver, BC. Oil tankers leaving the terminal would pass near the San Juan Islands and the Olympic Peninsula. Environmental groups and Northwest tribes are warning more tanker traffic could increase the risk of spills, vessel accidents, and underwater noise that threatens endangered southern resident killer whale populations. Canadian officials say marine safety will be a key part of the project's design, but Washington's Department of Ecology says it's waiting for more details before it will comment further. A member of Washington State's Human Rights Commission has resigned after facing criticism over comments about Jewish people during a commission meeting last year. Spokane pastor Luke Jasmine made the remarks while commissioners debated a resolution condemning anti-Semitism, saying Jewish people were, quote, always crying, and suggesting that they would continue making demands. The comments drew immediate pushback from fellow commissioners and renewed criticism after video of the meeting was released last month. In his resignation letter, Jasmine apologized, saying his remarks were poorly worded and caused real harm to the Jewish community. But he added he felt pressured to step down. Governor Bob Ferguson says he'll appoint a replacement. This is News Radio KONP.
Looking for the next place to call home? Come tour Lavender Meadows and Swim. Beautiful, affordable homes for active 55-plus adults. Our modern, low-maintenance homes give you more time to enjoy life. More than a home, you'll enjoy community, active lifestyle, value, and security. We're confident you'll appreciate the modern amenities too. Come to our Lavender Meadows and Swim or online at lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, we'll talk e-bikes with Garth Schmeck from Squim Bike Studios. We'll learn all about the new Olympic Nature Experience, and Sam Grisman from the Sam Grisman Project will join us.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Bring your kids to the Next Door Gastropub.
A hit with adults and kids alike, Next Door Gastropub has the best food.
Well, I like the clams, steak and fries, but still everything is really good. Yeah!
Fine dining cuisine in a family-friendly atmosphere.
Bring your kids to the Next Door Gastropub, where we've been serving families in downtown Port Angeles for over 15 years now.
Open Sunday through Monday from 11 till 10 and Saturday and Sunday 11 till 11. Next Door Gastropub, where family meets.
Now,
here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 68. Westerly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows level off around 52 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 64 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Thursday, with daytime highs approaching 64. 63, slight chance for rain. Friday. Looking further out, 61 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 70 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 64.
No more Ronaldo, no more Americans. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. The round of 16 continues to be the Achilles heel for Team USA. Last night they commit crucial mistakes early. They wind up losing to Belgium 4-1. U.S. giving up a goal in the 9th minute. They did tie it at 1, but Belgium retook the lead a couple of minutes later and never looked back. ESPN analyst Herculez Gomez says maybe the moment was just too big.
I went out and I said this team could play against Belgium physically, that they would give them fits. Where we mistook our evaluation of this team was psychologically and mentally what they would do if they faced adversity. They weren't ready for the moment.
Last night marking the 4th time in the past 5 World Cups the Americans exited in the round of 16. The only exception, 2018, where they didn't qualify. Belgium advances in the quarterfinals on Friday in Los Angeles. They will face Spain. Spain scoring in the first minute of stoppage time in the second half for a 1-0 win over Portugal. It marked the 27th and likely final World Cup appearance for Cristiano Ronaldo. Baseball Dodgers are the first to 60 wins this season. They get 4 RBI from Shohei Ohtani and a key RBI in the 11th.
Rushing swings, hits a ground ball. That's through into center. Dodgers win. Dalton Rushing walks it off. 8-7. Teoscar Hernandez scores. Rushing hit it up the middle, past the drawn-in infield, and the Dodgers win their 60th game of the season.
AM 570 LA Sports, 5th walk-off win of the season for the Dodgers, and for Colorado, their 11th consecutive loss at Dodger Stadium. Giants rout Toronto 10-1, Diamondbacks an 8-0 shutout of the Padres. Mets outlast the Braves 7-6 in 10 innings. Royals pound the Phillies 15-1. Yankees get 8 innings of 4-hit ball from Cam Schlittler. New York beats the Rays 5-1. Nationals, a 12-11 win over the Astros' 3rd game in baseball this season, where both teams scored in double digits.
Volunteers are needed to help support one of the region's biggest youth baseball events as the North Washington Cal Ripken Tournament comes to Port Angeles this week. North Olympic Baseball and Softball, or NOBAS, is recruiting concession stand volunteers for the tournament. It runs July 9th through the 12th. Organizers say concession sales are a major fundraiser that helps support local youth baseball and softball programs throughout the year. Volunteers of all ages and experience levels are welcome, and no previous concession experience is required. They will train you. If you're interested, you can go online. Go to tinyurl.com/NOBAS concessions. That's NOBAS concessions. Seattle Mariners are hitting the road. They start that road trip tonight with a series opener in Miami against the Marlins. Seattle coming in riding the momentum of a pretty good homestand, capped by back-to-back shutouts against the Toronto Blue Jays over the weekend. First pitch is 3:30 this afternoon. We'll take the air at 2:30 here on KONP. Mariner Baseball brought to you all season long locally by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Gravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Neuson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-base shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater needs some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care, and we look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks are under pressure. Tech weighing on sentiment. That's after chipmaker Samsung plunged overnight in South Korean trading. SpaceX shares started trading on the NASDAQ 100 today, and they fell. Even so, it's worth considering. There's a lot of bullish sentiment surrounding this stock. Don't rely on AI for personal finance. New study from the Journal of Financial Planning says artificial intelligence programs can be inconsistent, inaccurate, or biased. Researchers prompted AI programs like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and others with questions about emergency savings, asset allocation, and retirement withdrawals. The responses were a good starting point, but should not be used as final authority. And Nestle reportedly sharpening its flavoring to appeal to our increasingly dull tongues as GLP-1 drugs make us apparently less sensitive to some mild tastes. Wall Street Journal says companies testing adding more spices or pepper to food like Hot Pockets, Lean Cuisine, and DiGiorno pizzas. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
The Blind Store by McCrory is all about precision measuring, superior quality, and expert knowledge when it comes to your window covering investment. They're also keen on making sure that you save money and love what you buy. That's why, for a limited time, the Blind Store is offering 25% off window coverings throughout the store. Go from drab to not drab. You thought I was going to say fab, didn't you? With new blinds at 25% off from the Blind Store by McCrory in Sequim.
Hi, I'm Mitzi Hazard, Director of Rehabilitation Services at Olympic Medical Center. If aching feet are affecting your daily life or your balance, join me for a free presentation on Thursday, July 16th at 10:30 a.m. at our Medical Services Building on 5th Avenue in Sunny Sequim. We'll cover common causes of foot pain, why your footwear matters for stability, and how to properly test drive shoes before you buy them. Save the date and learn more at olympicmedical.org/events.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, just some volume out there to deal with. Typical lunchtime crowds, but no real big slowdowns. A little bit touch and go in some spots in downtown Port Angeles, but nothing real significant there. Also seeing a little bit of a slowdown as you're heading out towards the construction zones there in the Baker Dip and out by the East Side Safeway. But it clears out as you head down to Sequim. All green arrows there. Sequim itself, no problems. Heading out west to Forks and Nia Bay, both 101 and 112 are wide open right now. Just a little bit of slowing around Lake Crescent, but nothing real significant there to slow you down. It's just volume. Hood Canal Bridge right now is open to traffic, and there are no scheduled closures the rest of the day today. Check that, ferries into Seattle, all running on time right now. Looks like no problems there on any of those routes into Seattle. Your weather forecast is calling for sunshine the rest of the day today, upper 60s to mid 70s. Now, the west winds are going to pick up this afternoon, gusting to 30 miles per hour, and gusty, mostly cloudy tonight. With those winds, look for your lows in the upper 40s to mid 50s. Partly sunny for Wednesday, highs in the mid 60s to mid 70s, and kind of the same thing as we head into Thursday as well, looking ahead. Right now, across the North Olympic Peninsula, 60 in Port Townsend, 62 out west at Forks. Sequim, you're now at 64, and it's also 64 here in Port Angeles at last check.
From ABC News Tech Trends. Microsoft has announced it's laying off around 4,800 people, including 1,600 from the Xbox team. Over the course of the next fiscal year, 1,600 more Xbox employees are going to be let go. Some of the company's game studios are being spun off as well. In a statement, Xbox executives noted that revenues plummeted $500 million last year. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed some new artificial intelligence legislation. The Artificial Intelligence Safety Measures Act requires AI companies to publicly disclose the safety measures they're taking and to report significant safety incidents. It follows similar laws passed in California and New York. And Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, xAI, is getting a rebrand. It'll now be called SpaceX AI after it was acquired by Musk's private spaceflight company back in February. SpaceX went public last month. With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubosky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
If I were to ask you what makes for a good night's sleep, you'd probably say a dark, quiet room, not too many things on your mind. But every night when you go to get some Z's, how often do you really think about the temperature in your bedroom? Temperature may be one of the most underappreciated factors in sleep. That's according to the Senior Vice President of Research and Scientific Affairs at the National Sleep Foundation. We often hear about lights and screens and stress, but even modest changes in temperature and airflow can influence both how quickly you fall asleep and how deeply you stay asleep. Most experts will recommend a room temperature of 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. You might also experiment with your sheets and what you actually wear to bed. Play around a bit and see what improves your sleep. You might be delightfully surprised. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And we cut to size, because just like taxes and BS, we think metal is better when cut. Metal Supermarkets, the convenient stores for metal. Find a store or shop online at metalsupermarkets.com.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. We all know Thomas Jefferson. We know a lot about him, but there's a few things you may not know. I'll tell you those stories after this important message.
If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you.
We all know that Thomas Jefferson wrote the first draft of our Declaration of Independence. But did you know that he went to that Continental Congress as an alternate? That's right. He almost wasn't there at all. Of course, he went on to serve as governor of Virginia, Secretary of State under George Washington, Vice President under John Adams, and finally in 1800, he was our third U.S. president. But here was the strange and weird ending to Jefferson's life. He died on July the 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years to the day of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Very strange. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Looking for the perfect place to enjoy your next chapter? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim, featuring beautiful, affordable homes for active 55-plus living. Enjoy modern, low-maintenance living, plus pickleball courts, a community garden, and clubhouse gatherings.
Hey folks, this is Courtney over at Lavender Meadows. We hope to see you soon to check out our 8 new floor plans. Don't forget to ask us about our lease-to-own options.
Come home to Lavender Meadows. Visit lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
Do you know when your septic system was last inspected? Clallam County Environmental Health keeps those records and can tell you. Pumping your septic and complete septic inspections by licensed professionals are two very different things. State law requires inspections every 1 to 3 years, depending on the system you have. Get more information about your septic system and inspection requirements by calling Clallam County Environmental Health 360-417-2258 or by logging on to clallam.net/septic.
In 1925, a news headline read, "Nothing in the Northwest to equal the natural golf experience." By 1926, veteran golf course designer Francis James turned Dalton Farm in Port Angeles into Peninsula Golf Club. But Peninsula Golf Club took advantage of the natural fairways there, perfect putting greens, and natural draining system in a picture-perfect location. And today, 100 years later, local golfers and even PGA legend Byron Nelson believe that Peninsula Golf Club lived up to and went beyond those early declarations. Peninsula Golf Club is a true golf gem found right here in a most beautiful setting. And you're invited to their 100th anniversary celebration Friday, July 24th, so stay tuned for details. But why wait? Come visit Peninsula for a round of golf this week. The fairways are wide open.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump is in Turkey for a two-day NATO summit. He says the U.S. will honor its commitment to excellence when it comes to maintaining any planes sold to Turkey.
When you buy a plane from the United States, if there's engine rehab and other things that are done to engines.
And he says the U.S. has an actual obligation to maintain any military equipment it sells. And also at a joint news conference, he said that the U.S. will try to persuade the president that they're making a stronger Europe for a stronger NATO. That's what the NATO partners are trying to get out of President Trump, is an understanding that he should still be heavily committed to the alliance. And those projects worth billions of dollars could involve big sales for U.S. defense makers. And President Trump is announcing a major change in its overall policy toward Turkey.
President Trump announced the U.S. is lifting sanctions on Turkey during a meeting with Turkish President Erdogan at the NATO summit.
We're going to be taking the sanctions off. It's time to do that. We don't want to sanction friends. It's very simple. There's plenty of people we can sanction, and we are sanctioned. We don't want to sanction friends.
Maine's Democrat Party is calling on its U.S. Senate nominee there, Graham Plattner, to pull out of the race following yet more allegations of sexual assault. Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican, says the Democrats are being hypocritical by urging Plattner out of the race.
His chief sin at this point is not those views or his misconduct or new allegations. His chief sin in the eyes of the Democrats is that he's losing to Susan Collins. And they're afraid that it's only going to get worse.
And Cotton told the Salem Radio Network that given all the drama there for the Democrats, it's highly unlikely they will be able to unseat the incumbent Republican, Susan Collins of Maine. On Wall Street, the Dow struggling. It's off 151 points amid higher oil prices. The NASDAQ struggling, partly because of the higher oil prices and also some problems for tech companies. The NASDAQ is down 306 points. More from townhall.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline, 800-305-6762. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-305-6762 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-305-6762 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-305-6762.
U.S. World Cup dreams crashed down to earth in a decisive 4-1 defeat by Belgium.
The U.S. was beaten 4-1 by Belgium in the knockout match in Seattle Monday night, ending the U.S. men's World Cup dreams. Defensive mistakes put the Americans on their heels early in the game. On the bench, frustrated coach Mauricio Pochettino kicked a rack and sent water bottles flying.
I think we were not good enough. Wasn't our day. We didn't perform in the way that we supposed to perform.
Belgium's Charles de Ketelaere scored twice and assisted on another goal. He said FIFA's decision to suspend U.S. star Fowler and Balogun's red card may have actually helped. Malik Tillman scored the sole U.S. goal, tying it up at 30 minutes with a deflected free kick after a foul. Audio courtesy FIFA. I'm Jennifer King.
Microsoft says it's cutting 4,800 jobs. That includes a lot of them in its Xbox division, which is undergoing some changes. Overall, that represents about 2.1% of the Microsoft global workforce. More on these stories at townhall.com. The state of Utah is now revoking the license of a boarding school where socialite Paris Hilton says she was abused as a teenager, saying the school has failed to provide applicable health and safety services for its clients. Paris Hilton speaking out about that facility.
These places really just prey on parents who are just looking for help for their children. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just sneaking out at night, getting bad grades. I have ADHD, so I wasn't doing well in school. But this is definitely not the place that I should have been sent. My parents have no idea. They thought it was, they have these fake marketing tools and websites and brochures that made it look like it was this really safe space. And my parents had no idea what was happening.
Hilton fought hard to shut that facility down. State health officials imposed temporary restrictions on the school back in May, saying at the time that the staff did not seek immediate medical care for a student there with serious injuries. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Tom Ortloff from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, July 7th. Clallam County Commissioners holding a required mid-year budget review later this month. But one commissioner says he hopes the presentation will help dispel rumors the county's going bankrupt. The public hearing set for Tuesday, July 28th, 10:30 a.m. at the courthouse. Finance staff will there present budget results from the first 6 months of the year, along with projections for the rest of 2026. But during a work session yesterday, Commissioner Randy Johnson said he's heard claims that the county's on the verge of bankruptcy. He wants staff to include a simple summary explaining the county's current financial picture.
Can I say this only because I had several comments with it. I think, where are they getting this information that says that we, the county, are about to go bankrupt? I mean, I don't know for the life of me where that came from. And where I'm going with this is maybe if we could have a one-pager on top of all the detail, just because I would certainly like to send that information to some other people.
A Deputy Chief Financial Officer, Rebecca Turner, said the rumors may stem from broader financial challenges facing counties across the state. She did acknowledge the county can provide a one-page overview to accompany the more detailed budget report that's coming out.
Yeah, I would say I don't know where that specific comment is coming from. I know there's been talk around the financial state of many counties.
Commissioners noted the county does face some long-term financial challenges, though. However, they said that July 28th review could provide the public with an updated look at the county's current finances and where it is headed. County's charter requires the mid-year report. Well, the 4th of July celebration in downtown Port Angeles being hailed a resounding success this past weekend. Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Mark Abshire, dropped by our Morning Scramble program yesterday with a review of what was one of the city's biggest celebrations on the 4th ever. The weather was good, the waterfront district packed with people all day and into the night, and Abshire reports the grand finale did not disappoint.
I think it might have been the biggest fireworks show Port Angeles Harbor's ever seen.
Yeah.
I think. It's the biggest one we've done. Yeah. I know that.
Part of the credit for the spectacular fireworks show goes to the residents of the visiting private cruise ship, The World. They donated $10,000 to help fund the show. Abshire said it was the first time the globe wandering vessel has ever spent the 4th of July in the USA, and they chose to do it here in Port Angeles, and not as observers from the decks of the ship either.
They were involved, yeah. So first of all, they have their pastry chef was one of the judges for the apple pie baking contest, which was fantastic. And then one of their crew members was one of the winners of the hot dog eating contest.
More news after this. It's time for your monthly Market Minute with critical insights from local real estate pro May Graves.
Hi, May Graves here with Squim Real Estate Market Pros. Have you ever thought about listing your home for sale yourself? There might be some advantages on the surface, like paying less in professional fees, but the data tells us there's really no advantage. Your neighbors who list their home with an agent typically sell for $60,000 more than someone selling by owner. Homes that are listed for sale by owner are also under-marketed. Typically no professional pictures, the remarks are under par, and the data is not strong. Plus, they are not reaching a large audience. If you're thinking about listing your home, talk to the Real Estate Market Pros. We'll give you all the advice and help you get your home on the market and sold. Reach out to May Graves at Real Estate Market Pros.
Gas prices are out of the sky high. I mean, they're just ridiculous.
If it wasn't for food banks, I really don't know what I would do.
I don't have health insurance.
You know, during my lifetime I've worked, I really never got a pay raise. Meanwhile, billionaires and corporations are getting rich.
They tell us to be afraid of our neighbors because of who we voted for or where we were born.
But we are not falling for it.
Blue Collar, we have each other's backs. BlueCollarUnity.org.
Paid for by Firelands workers building community power.
In other news, the Native Youth Generational Leadership Summit was held in Port Angeles recently. It brought young Native people from across the country together to build community, learn about substance use prevention, and practice some everyday skills. Isabel Charlet has more.
The summit was hosted by the Lower Elwha, Klallam, and Spokane tribes with support from the American Indian Health Commission. Tia Skirbeck with the Lower Elwha Klallam Tribal Council says the 2.5-day summit included traditional practices that not all Native young people get to experience, like storytelling and talking circles.
We rely on those teachings and those practices to help carry through the prevention messages that we're sharing with the youth and helping them develop some skills to become resilient. They're not just little kids running around. They're our future leaders.
Skirbeck adds the youth also shared what issues they would like to see their communities prioritize. She says while the summit was focused on youth, it was multi-generational and included elders who offered guidance and support. Audrey Gales is a 19-year-old Lower Elwha Klallam community member. Gales' auntie, Jacqueline Saliers, was killed by police in 2016. She says learning about issues related to missing and murdered Indigenous people and women while calling for justice for her auntie and all Native victims of violence is close to her heart. She's been to a number of similar events over the years and encourages other young people to attend.
Especially if you're Indigenous and it's a Native summit, always attend. It's always worth it. You learn so much, meet so many people.
She adds another highlight was learning how to make a salmon net out of stinging nettle and celebrating the return of fish populations to the Elwha River after her tribe led the campaign to remove 2 dams there.
Impending anniversary of last year's devastating Bear Gulch fire comes with some new news for campers and hikers eager to get back into those areas. On July 8th, the Olympic National Forest and Olympic National Park will reopen the Staircase Campground, day-use sites along Lake Cushman, and several trailheads along Forest Road 24, including Mount Rose. The announcement comes a year, almost to the day after the human-caused wildfire began July 6th last year. You may remember how the fire smoldered throughout much of last summer, burning through the steep terrain of the Olympic Mountains. Over 20,000 acres were torched, the largest blaze on the Olympic Peninsula since 1951. It was not fully contained until November. Meanwhile, the latest on the Mount Tom Creek fire in the Hoh Rainforest. That blaze now at 68 acres. It's 0% contained. Fire activity for the fire is expected to remain active for some time as it burns through steep and heavily forested terrain. As for smoke, most places in the forecast areas should have good to moderate air quality over the coming days. However, officials said that the wind direction had shifted a bit, and smoke from separate fires to the north and east could drift into the area, with potential impacts felt here in the Port Angeles area. A proposed Canadian oil pipeline is raising concerns in Washington over the potential for increased tanker traffic through the Salish Sea. Alberta officials announced plans for the new pipeline capable of moving 1 million barrels of crude oil a day to a proposed export terminal near Vancouver, BC. Oil tankers leaving the terminal would pass near the San Juan Islands and the Olympic Peninsula. Environmental groups and Northwest tribes are warning more tanker traffic could increase the risk of spills, vessel accidents, and underwater noise that threatens endangered southern resident killer whale populations. Canadian officials say marine safety will be a key part of the project's design, but Washington's Department of Ecology says it's waiting for more details before it will comment further.
Hi, I'm John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, serving the Puget Sound since 2007. Tri-State Roofing is committed to making every step of the process stress-free. You'll have a dedicated production manager helping you with every aspect, start to finish. Right now, we're offering 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 6 months. Call Tri-State today, and we'll be out tomorrow.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Looking for affordable home ownership on the peninsula? Mountain View Homes has you covered.
Enjoy high-quality craftsmanship at 40% less than traditional homes. You heard me, 40% less. We offer full-service land packages from dirt to turnkey, delivering beautiful, efficient manufactured homes on your chosen site. With 3 convenient locations, including Carlsberg, we're here to serve you. Visit mtviewhomes.com today to learn more. Mountain View Homes, where affordability meets quality.
Caring for a loved one takes heart and sometimes a helping hand. Our Adult Day Stay program provides a safe, supportive environment with meals, activities, and on-site nursing care from just 30 minutes up to 10 hours with no minimum commitment for only $25 an hour.
Care for your loved one and peace of mind for you. This is Andy McGill, Executive Director at Dungeness Court Memory Care. Call 360-582-9309 to schedule a free assessment today.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 68. Westerly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows level off around 52. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 64. Tomorrow, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Thursday, with daytime highs approaching 64. 63, slight chance for rain Friday. Looking further out, 61 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 70 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 64.
Seattle Mariners against the Marlins this afternoon at 2:30 here. Airtime on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Now the rest of the sports. Here's Robert Workman.
World Cup 2026, Belgium blasted the U.S. 4-1 in Seattle last night, the third and final host nation eliminated in as many days. After the ninth-ranked Belgians took the lead 9 minutes in, Malik Tillman tied it with a beautiful free kick, but that surge lasted barely a minute, Belgium taking advantage of shoddy U.S. defense and mental errors in their own end. Belgium will meet Spain in the quarterfinals, the number 2 team in the world rankings. Got a stoppage time goal to edge Portugal 1-0 in Dallas. Probably the final World Cup appearance of Cristiano Ronaldo. The last 2 spots in the quarterfinals will be decided today. World number 1 Argentina and Egypt meet in Atlanta. Then it's Switzerland and Colombia clashing in Vancouver. Baseball, the Mets nipped the Braves 7-6 in 10 innings. Juan Soto put New York on top with a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth. Matt Olson tied it with a 2-run shot in the home half. Luis Torrens doubled in 2 runs in the top of the 10th. Then Atlanta loaded the bases before falling short. Dodgers blew an early 5-run lead, but came back to edge the Rockies 8-7 in 10 innings. Nationals outlasted the Astros 12-11. Houston had a 5-run lead early. Washington then scored 5 times in the third and 6 more in the fifth, capped by a James Wood grand slam.
Yeah, I mean, guys battle every at-bat. Doesn't really matter the score. So, we just put together a bunch of good at-bats, and we're able to put a bunch of runs up.
Elliot Ramos had 2 taters and 5 ribs as the Giants blasted the Blue Jays 10-1. Yankees deflected the Rays 5-1. Jose Caballero homered twice for New York.
I always play around with that, but it's a real thing. I always think that every player should think the same way. That's why we're in the big leagues, because we're the best.
That's just the Yanks' second win in the last 11 games. Diamondbacks blanked the Padres 8-0. Brandon Pfaadt and the Fighters scattered 8 hits. Max Kepler homered and drove in 4. Royals hit 4 homers as they flattened the Phillies 15-1, 3 of the dingers and 9 of the runs coming off ace Christopher Sanchez, the worst outing of his career. Brewers rallied past the Cardinals 4-3. Bryce Terang with the big hit.
This locker room's bought into we're winning games, so we'll figure out any way how we can win a game or whatever. If we could walk home with a win every night, then that's what we're going to try to do.
At Wimbledon, Americans Madison Keys and Ashlyn Kruger were ousted in the 4th round, leaving just 2 U.S. players into the quarterfinals. And as luck would have it, they face each other today. 4-seed Jessica Pegula and 7-seed Coco Gauff. Men's quarters today, number 1 and defending champ Yannick Sinner against unseeded German Jan-Lennard Struff. And 3rd-seed Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime meets number 7 Novak Djokovic, still seeking that record 25th Grand Slam title. That's Tuesday Sports.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks are under pressure, especially tech. That's after Samsung's plunge overnight set the tone for tech on Wall Street. Crude oil futures rising today. The Treasury Department has revoked a waiver that allowed the sale of Iranian oil. And the move comes following new attacks on tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. SpaceX joined the NASDAQ today. The shares fell in their debut, but there's a lot of positivity surrounding this stock, with at least 6 brokers, including Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, starting coverage with buy-equivalent ratings. They're all on board with the company's long-term growth prospects, even as questions linger over profitability, execution, and valuation. And did you pay for someone else's dinner and you're still waiting for them to Zelle you back? 76% of Gen Z consumers who have paid upfront for a group expense say they were never paid back in full, according to Zelle. With people struggling to pay others back and some people reporting the experience damaged their relationships or even pushed them into debt. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Be part of one of the biggest and best events in the area, the annual Unity of Effort. The premier first responder recognition event features delicious food, amazing live performances, and a celebration of our first responders. Contact Security Services Northwest if you're interested in having a booth at this huge community event. Go to unityofeffort.org and we'll see you at the Unity of Effort Saturday, August 8th in Sequim.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, we'll talk e-bikes with Garth Schmeck from Sequim Bike Studios. We'll learn all about the new Olympic Nature Experience. And Sam Grisman from the Sam Grisman Project will join us.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
July is the first full month of summer, and don't you just love the longer days and warmer weather? This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and if you've been thinking about a new truck to pull your trailer or tow your boat, then we have some great options for you. From the Tundra, Tacoma, Titan, Frontier, or the Honda Ridgeline. And the acres of used vehicles to choose from, plus the Wilder Advantage, well, why would you go anywhere else? Stop by and check us out today or 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
Hi, it's Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. Ever call somewhere and get stuck in a phone maze so long you start questioning your life choices?
Press 1 to speak to a robot. Press 2 to be routed to the number 4 button. Press 3 to be disconnected inexplicably.
Yeah, we don't do that. We're right here in Port Angeles at 405 South Peabody Street. You need help? Just stop in. We'll look up, smile, and actually talk with you. Farmers Insurance, here when you need us.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Right now at Angelus Furniture, you'll see big savings on Stressless by Eckernes. Receive $100 off for every $1,000 spent on qualifying stressless seating. Or save $50 on each stressless dining or home office chair. Whatever it is that you're looking for, we're confident you'll find it with the help of our stressless experts. The most innovative seating on the market today is worth every penny. Offer valid now through August 10th, only at Angelus Furniture.
Celebrate Independence Day with huge savings at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Through July 11th, save 10% on everything outside the store, including feed, fencing, shelter systems, wire panels, pellets, and more. Inside, save 15% on everything, like handheld power tools, pet supplies, jewelry, purses, and more. Plus, take $250 off all in-stock mowers and tractors, and get free trailer licensing, a $200 value. Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Family-owned and serving generations of hard-working families.
Tilly Norwood, the artificial intelligence-created actress, is set to make her film debut. It'll be in a comedy meant to show the state of AI in movies. ABC's Hannah Butta has more on that.
Norwood was first announced by the production company Particle 6 last year. The actors union, SAG-AFTRA, said they do not consider her to be an actress. Now the studio that made her is producing a film starring Tilly. Titled Misaligned, a coming-of-age story about Tilly trying to become more human. Particle 6 says the film is being designed as a hybrid production, with human directors, writers, and editors working alongside AI specialists.
Health officials looking to see if there's a common source of higher-than-usual cases of a pretty bad stomach bug going around in parts of the country. Here's ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
Cyclospora cases are about 13.5 times higher than on average in Michigan. There are nearly 700, says an official from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. That's up from 300 cases reported last Thursday. In Ohio, there were 177 cases July 2nd, says the state health department. Typically, both states report 50 cases a year. Officials say it can take a week or two between exposure and symptoms appearing. The one-cell parasite usually spreads through food or water contaminated with feces, says the CDC.
Obvious, listening to music helps runners combat mental fatigue during their exercise. In other words, listening to music keeps you motivated to keep going. Now, researchers find motivational music can help boost people's performance despite feeling tired. Results showed runners who listened to music performed just as well after completing a mentally fatiguing thinking task as those who ran without taking such a test.
Would you pay $60 to stop looking at your own phone? Millions are doing just that. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN. With one click, ExpressVPN keeps your online activity private and secure. Get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. So here's the gadget everyone's buying. It's called the Brick, a little 2-inch cube that locks up Instagram, TikTok, all your time wasters. The only way back in? Tap your phone on the cube. It's clever, except your phone already does this for free. On an iPhone, go to Settings, then App Limits. On Android, open Digital Wellbeing. Set a 1-hour cap on TikTok and it slams the door shut. Still can't stop scrolling? Go nuclear. Delete the apps. Revolutionary, I know. Or here's my favorite. Trade your smartphone for a flip phone. $20 at Walmart, calls and texts only. 0 doom scrolling. And snapping it shut after a call? That's satisfying. A $60 cube to fix a bad habit, that's one idea that hits you like a ton of, well, you know. Get my free newsletter at getkim.com.
AI is changing the world, and there's no question it's making technology smarter, but it's also making it easier than ever for companies to learn more about you through your online activity. Websites you visit, searches you run, and apps you use can reveal more about you than you realize. That's just one reason I use ExpressVPN. It encrypts my internet connection to help keep my personal information more secure online. Whether I'm checking email or shopping online, I know ExpressVPN is quietly working in the background. I also like how super easy it is to use. Really, one tap on my phone, laptop, desktop, or tablet, and I'm connected. Plus, one subscription now covers up to 14 devices at once. That's enough to protect your entire household. Best of all, it comes with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. So take your online privacy seriously with ExpressVPN. Right now, get 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. expressvpn.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh, and coming up, there's been a boom in sales for life insurance policies, wills, and trusts. I'm going to tell you why younger adults under age 35 have been getting their affairs in order. Next, in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
So we now know the events of the last couple of years have spurred a lot of people to finally buy life insurance and to create wills and trusts. Because people aren't feeling invincible anymore. They're coming to terms with their mortality and they want to be prepared. And it's not just senior citizens, by the way. The number of life insurance applications from people under age 44 skyrocketed by a full 20% last year. And Gentrio, an online estate planning platform, saw a 200% increase in people creating wills. One more thing. A survey by LegalZoom.com found that 32% of people drafting wills last year were between the ages of 18 and 34 years old. And if you're young, by the way, life insurance isn't as expensive as you may think. It's less than you pay annually for a Netflix subscription. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Hey everybody, Todd here at Price Ford. And backed by popular demand, Ford has come out with the employee pricing for everyone. And I'm not talking about what I would pay as an employee. I'm talking about what the corporate employees pay. You can't buy a new Ford for less money. This offer covers almost every vehicle in the Ford lineup. So if you're in the market for a new Ford, hurry down to Price Ford right on Highway 101, right next to Walmart in Port Angeles, and we'll have a vehicle waiting for you.
Jim's Pharmacy, your partner for travel health, has great news. No referrals are needed. We will provide you with an international certificate of vaccination and prophylaxis, also known as a yellow card. Vaccinations including yellow fever, typhoid, rabies, cholera, Japanese encephalitis, hepatitis A and B, meningococcal polio, Tdap, and MMR. Jim's has all of your vaccinations, medications, home health, and gifting ideas. We're here to help. Jim's Pharmacy, open 7 days a week behind the Port Angeles Post Office.
Your voice, your news. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim. AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3. A Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot.
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race.
New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani joining fellow progressive Bernie Sanders, bailing on Graham Plattner, who is taking time to reflect on his Senate campaign after a former girlfriend accused him of entering her home and raping her.
Politico reporting Jenny Rasenko, who dated Plattner on and off starting in 2019, alleging in 2021 he showed up at her home almost blackout drunk, saying she had been telling him these words like, "No, don't." Rasenko later telling CNN Plattner then forced her to have sex against her will.
I could smell alcohol and I was like, this is different.
Plattner emphatically denying the allegations.
ABC's Jay O'Brien. Oil prices are back above $70 a barrel after Iran fired on more ships in the Strait of Hormuz today. One of them, a Saudi tanker, the kingdom demanding reparations. And just now, the U.S. is revoking its license, authorizing the sale of Iranian oil. President Trump at the NATO summit criticizing allies for not supporting his war with Iran and saying he's dropping the sanctions against his host nation, Turkey, because
we don't want to sanction friends. It's very simple.
The sanctions were put in place when Turkey bought a Russian missile defense system. Bricks have been falling from the former Pfizer building in Manhattan, which is being turned into apartments. 2 steel beams are buckling on the 21st and 22nd floors. ABC's Aaron Katersky just outside the evacuation zone.
The FDNY shut down 42nd Street and a number of adjacent blocks out of an abundance of caution while the Department of Buildings and its structural engineers try to figure out how to render this place safe. For now, everybody is out, nobody is allowed in, and a number of buildings, including residential, commercial, even a hotel, remain evacuated.
You can see the building leaning. Charlie Kirk's accused assassin back in court in Provo, Utah. You're listening to ABC News.
That'll be 84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Lionel Messi scores again as Argentina beats Egypt, his 8th score in the World Cup. If you pay for a window seat, there ought to be a window, right? That's what a passenger says who is suing United Airlines, and today a California judge denied United's request to dismiss the suit. United saying that a window seat refers to a seat located in relation to the cabin aisle, not an actual window. He's been in the hospital for weeks, the longest-serving Senate leader in history. It's unclear why. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with the latest from Washington.
Amid a slew of online rumors about his health, some of Mitch McConnell's colleagues now say they've spoken with him by phone. John Thune, who succeeded McConnell as Senate Majority Leader, says the two had a lengthy and substantive conversation yesterday. Republican Whip John Barrasso says his call with McConnell lasted roughly 20 minutes and that the 84-year-old was fully engaged and is eager to get back to the Senate. McConnell's been hospitalized for more than 3 weeks for reasons that still have not been disclosed by his aides.
ABC News reported that paramedics came to his house last month to treat an unconscious person who was in need of advanced life support. Younger people are less trusting of fellow humans than older people, says research at Marquette Law School. The vast majority of those born before 1960 feel people can be trusted. Americans born in the 80s and after believe people generally cannot be trusted. I'm Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
These days, we are constantly told to be afraid of each other,
of our neighbors, our co-workers, and even our family members.
That's exactly what the rich and powerful want.
I don't want to live in a world which rich and powerful tell us what to do. So let's do things different.
Say hi to your bus driver.
Shake hands with a neighbor.
Thanks to a cannery worker.
Say hey to a stranger.
Blue Collar, we have each other's backs. BlueCollarUnity.org.
Paid for by Firelands Workers Building Community Power.
Summer means camping and fishing season is in full swing. At Swain's annual 4th of July sale, find deals on crab floats for just $13.87 each, collapsible crab traps for only $34.87, and Okuma-inspired Classic Pro GLT salmon downriggers with 15% off. When you're ready to grill up all that seafood, check out the Blackstone Grill for just $494.87. Sit by the campfire in your new Caddis Director Chair with table for only $45.87. Huge savings like these all now during the 4th of July sale at Swain's.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate Outstanding Agents. Outstanding results, 457-6600. Konp County Commissioners holding a required mid-year budget review July 28th, and officials say the presentation will include a simple overview of the county's finances. That after rumors have circulated claiming the county is near bankruptcy. Finance staff will also present budget results from the first half of the year and updated projections for the rest of 2026. The Mount Tom Creek fire in the Hoh Rainforest still at 68 acres now. It's 0% contained. Officials say smoke from fires to the north and east could drift into our area over the coming days.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 68. Winds out of the northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 52. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Thursday, with daytime highs approaching 65. 63, slight chance for rain Friday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 61 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 70 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 64.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
And welcome to the program. Lots to cover today. And first up, electric bikes. They've become one of the fastest growing trends in cycling. And here on the Olympic Peninsula, they are opening up a whole lot of opportunities for recreation, commuting, getting outside. We have a lovely trail to ride those around and plenty of places to go as well. We're going to talk about electric bikes because there's some big changes in what they are, and there's changes in rules on where you can ride them. With Garth Schmeck. Garth with Squim Bike Studio joining us on the phone. Hi, Garth. Thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome.
So let's talk a little bit about, what is an e-bike? Technically, a lot of people may say, well, it's just a moped, right? So in the year 2026, when somebody says, set me up with an e-bike, what are we getting?
Yes, there's a lot of confusion around that. An e-bike is actually an electric bicycle, key phrase being bicycle, so it's something that you can actually pedal. If it's looks like a bike but doesn't have any pedals and it can't be ridden without the motor assist, then it's definitely an electric motorcycle or an electric moped. So there is a big difference in that category. They fall into classifications. There's class 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 are limited to a 20 mile per hour top assistance. That means the motor can only help you up to 20, and a class 3 can help you up to 28 miles per hour. If it goes 28 or faster, it's basically considered an electric motorcycle or a moped. So the law is very specific that anyone can ride a class 1 and a class 2 electric bicycle wherever bicycles can be ridden, and that is all part of the old amended Bill 1096 that was instituted in all 50 states. There, however, is local jurisdiction in certain areas where the trail may say only a Class 1 is available to ride. And the main difference between Class 1 and Class 2 is a Class 1 is pedal assist only, which means you have to pedal, you have to shift, you have to ride it like a regular bike, and then the motor can assist you like a hybrid. Right. And Class 2 can also have a throttle. So Class 2 e-bike will have pedal assist plus a throttle.
All right, so take me through this as well. I'm an old school guy. I've never ridden an e-bike, but to me, I'm kind of like, boy, I don't know how does that work when it's going to say, let's go with like a Class 1 where it's going to kick in and help me along. To me, I'm thinking like, well, is that going to push me? What's going to happen with my pedaling, so to speak?
Yeah, so most all the newer electric bicycles have what's called a torque sensor in the cranks or the bottom bracket, and so anytime you're riding the bike around like a normal bicycle with the motor turned off, the bike can be turned on, but the motor assistance will be turned off, and you can ride around just like a regular bike and shift it. Feels like a bike, coasts like a bike, it brakes like a bike. It's just a bicycle. As soon as you pick a level of assistance, and most bikes will have 3 or 4 different levels of assistance, and they'll give them different names, or they'll give them a number. It might be, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, or it might say eco mode, trail mode, boost mode, or turbo mode, something like that. But let's say you're riding around like a regular bicycle, and then all of a sudden you decide to accept some assistance, and you press the up arrow, and it then goes to another mode. What you'll notice is that you just feel like you're stronger. It feels like you're riding in a really good tailwind, or your legs got stronger. And the moment you press on the pedals, the bike will also be matching your power. It will be assisting you at that point.
All right, so I live in a spot where I'd have to go up a pretty good hill to get home. One of the reasons I may not ride a bike is I'm thinking about going home. This sounds like this might help me out getting up that hill.
Exactly. The main reason why people are buying electric bicycles and the popularity of electric bicycles is for all the reasons that they don't ride a bike. Yeah. So if you talk to people and ask them if they ride a bicycle and they say, no, I don't, and you can ask why, they'll give you reasons like, well, it's too hard, the distance is too far, my hills in my area are too steep, or, I live in an area that's windy and I'm constantly battling headwinds. So for every excuse that a person has to not ride a bike short of hurricanes and storms, the e-bike will help that situation.
Who's buying these things now? I know a lot of people have purchased them, but give us kind of your typical customer these days.
The regular customer for electric bike is our 65-plus retired crowd. Okay. So it's mostly people who've been away from cycling for many, many years, and they're now returning to the sport, realizing it may be a little bit tough for them, a little bit aches and pains with the body or what have you, and the e-bike is just helping them out enough. The customer that we don't see that often is actually a cyclist. So people who are riding bikes on a regular basis typically won't look at electric bikes until they get to the point where riding regular bikes with their friends is just too difficult.
I would think, though, this does get people out and exercising. As you pointed out, you're still riding a bike, so this is better than just sitting on the couch.
Yeah, there's a lot of surveys that have been done and studies that have been done showing that electric bikes give you more exercise than most sports, and I have to say it's partially true but partially false, and let me explain that. So the reason it's true is because you're out exercising, but the reason it's false is because you're out exercising, versus if you didn't have an electric bike, you probably wouldn't exercise at all. I have people who come in and say, well, I have a bicycle, and I ask, well, how often do you ride it? And, well, I haven't been on the bike for 2.5 years. So technically that bicycle is not giving you any exercise at that point. So when a person buys an electric bike, they go out and they realize, oh, this is easy and I can ask for more help. So they tend to do it more, and then what we see is the opposite. They get into shape riding electric bikes, whereas if you own a regular bike that sits in the garage, you don't get into shape.
I see. Okay, I get it. Let's talk about the charging on these things. How long does it take? How long of a charge do they hold? Because you talked about people trying to stretch distance, for example. How many miles can you get on a typical charge with these?
Well, in the new bikes nowadays, we're in the modern era where the bikes are charging very quickly. They're using speed chargers, which is about a 4-amp charge on there. It's not much. From dead to fully charged takes about 2 to 3 hours. It's not that long. And the typical mileage range that we're seeing on bikes now is anywhere between 60 to 80 to even over 100 miles on some batteries. It just depends on the bike. And most people are not going to go out and ride 80 to 100 miles every day. They're not going to do it.
Unless they're on some sort of a special journey, right? Where they, and I guess could you take extra batteries if you were doing something like that? If you were worried about getting to where you could plug in between?
It's usually not an issue.
Yeah.
Like I say, this is America, and there's electricity all throughout our grid. So if a person's touring, which we still have people that tour on bicycles, they just take their charger with them, and anytime you stop for lunch or a coffee or whatever, you just plug in and top off. There's plugs everywhere. I mean, you go to Starbucks and everybody's plugging in their laptops and their cell phones in. You can just very easily plug your battery in while you're having a coffee.
And it's a good point. I mean, we talk about this being an e-bike. People think of these as the electric vehicle where you need a special kind of charger. This is literally a plug-in outlet like you would charge your phone with.
It's a standard 110 outlet, just a regular house outlet,
Okay, so let's talk about, somebody walks into your shop at Squim Bike Studio today looking for their first one of these e-bikes. How do you get them started? What advice do you give somebody? This is like the absolute novice. Let's go with that.
Yeah, first is education. It's all about helping someone, kind of swim through all the bad information that's out on the internet. So everybody has heard of bicycles. Most people have heard of electric bicycles, but what they don't know sometimes is that in every category of bicycle, there's also an e-bike. So there's no such thing as just an e-bike. There's electric mountain bikes, gravel bikes, road bikes, cruisers, commuters, cargo bikes. There's all different categories. So what's more important is the 90%. What is the 90% that somebody wants to do with the bike? Where are they going to be riding? What are they going to be doing? And we'll steer them in that direction. And that way it narrows down the field of all the bikes they have to look at. And then from there, we talk about what are your goals? How far do you want to ride? How much stuff do you want to carry? Those kinds of things. And we can then narrow the field even closer. And then the most important part after all the education comes is riding the bikes. You have to actually go out and experience it. We can talk till we're blue in the face, but until somebody actually tries a bicycle, they don't know how it's going to feel. And in many cases, we're dealing, we live in Squim and we have the business here in Squim, so we're dealing with people who haven't been on a bicycle maybe for 40, 50, 60 years. So there's a little bit of fear there about, can I actually still ride a bike? The beauty is there's an old saying that everybody's heard, it's like riding a bicycle.
Right, yeah, once you learn, you'll never forget, right?
Exactly.
Even if it is an e-bike as well. What is a misconception about e-bikes that you find that you'd like to make sure people say, no, that's just a myth?
The biggest misconception is that you're a cheater.
I like that.
Tell me what you're cheating. And really those comments come from cyclists. They come from hardcore cyclists who believe that you should be out there struggling the same as they are, pushing and not smiling, and you should be gritting your teeth and making it hard. That's just really a fallacy. I have a lot of people that will buy electric bikes and actually go the other way. So down the road, after they've ridden an electric bike and they get back into shape, then they get kind of bike curious and they come in and they say, what's it like to ride a lightweight, non-electric bicycle? And in many cases, they'll buy a regular bicycle down the road.
Is this really, though, giving a real resurgence into bicycling, though? I see a lot of people out on these e-bikes, and they may not have been out there otherwise.
Yeah, it's more of a connection with your freedom as a child. I mean, your first getaway vehicle was a bike for most people. When you go back to your childhood and you say, I rode a bike when I was a kid, and I did this and I did that. Getting on a bicycle as an adult actually makes you feel young again, just from that perspective. The reason why people buy motorcycles is wind in the face, the balancing, the dynamic, the way the bike feels going around turns. It's just a neat sport. It's really no different than horseback riding or like I say, riding motorcycles. So when somebody has experienced something like that in their past and they do it again, they fall back into love with the same sport that they were in love with once before.
Yeah, and the health benefits, you just can't beat that. It's better than being sedentary, certainly. And what you alluded to as well, if I come into your store down there, you've got a wide range of types of bikes to look at. I think people may not realize the variety that is out there.
Yeah, it's not easy being a bicycle retailer today because in the old days you just carried regular bikes, and then when electric bikes came around, you had to have almost double the size for a floor. But now we've narrowed it down to where we know which categories win for certain people in certain regions. And so our age demographic here in Sequim means I'm selling a certain type of electric bike more than, say, a full suspension electric downhill bike, something that's used for extreme, jumping. Not too many, people past their 60s and 70s are out jumping 20-foot gap jumps, so they don't need that bike.
I don't know. From what you said, if they keep on the other one, they may upgrade at some point. So, what's the cost? What's kind of the entry level of getting into this?
The Sport, brand spanking new now, cost as low as $1,100.
That's pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
And I mean that's
for good quality UL listed product, stuff that can be sold in a store. There's a lot of e-bikes that are sold on the internet, and they're not UL listed, and they cannot be sold out of a store. Much like a microwave or a toaster or a TV has to be UL listed to be sold in a retail store. So there's a ton of products that are sold on the internet that will not be touched or worked on by a bike store.
I think I kind of want to make sure I have a product that's going to not catch fire or something like that. I think I'm going to trust that.
That's the reason for the reason for the UL listing.
And getting it fitted too. I mean, this is just like the old bike days. You want to make sure this thing fits you as well, because it's got to be comfortable.
Yeah, and most people are not electric bike mechanics, so you want to have a store that's reliable, that works on the bikes. We take care of all of our customers and our bikes within the warranty period. So if a bike has a 2-year warranty, that all the service is included for 2 years as well.
Excellent.
So it really helps you get into the sport easy, comfortably, be able to do it, not have any problems with it, and the last thing you have to worry about is your bike. It's always going to be working.
And we certainly have great places to ride bikes and e-bikes, especially around these parts as well. And I know that, Garth, you down there will help anybody out that stops in to say hi or take a look at what you got and maybe even ask a question, where can I ride one of these things? You'll get us in the right spot.
We're definitely blessed with having the Olympic Peninsula, trail system here, and the Peninsula Trails Coalition has been working, hard for the last 30-plus years, which is a volunteer organization to build all these trails in the local area. And we have, just the Olympic Discovery Trail is 135 miles long. It goes from Port Townsend all the way out to La Push. And so we have plenty of places to ride.
All right. Best thing to do, go down to see Garth at Sequim Bike Studio and say, hey, I want to learn about these e-bikes. Garth, great talking to you. We'll have to get you back on again, and we'll talk e-biking down the road, all right?
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. That's Garth Schmeck. He is at Sequim Bike Studio. All about e-bikes there in our first segment. We're going to take a break. Be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Have you ever clicked get a quote online and suddenly your phone acts like it owes someone money? 20 calls a day, numbers you've never seen, and not one of them local? I'm Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. If you're tired of mystery callers trying to sell you insurance, try something different. Talk directly to a real local agent who actually lives here. No robocalls, no strangers. We are real people helping real people right here at home.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Attention all moms-to-be. North Olympic Healthcare Network's board-certified physicians specializing in family medicine with obstetrics are here to guide and support you on your pregnancy journey. We provide personalized, compassionate care focused on building a long-lasting relationship before, during, and after pregnancy. From pre-pregnancy planning to childbirth to primary care for your whole family, we're with you for the journey. To learn more, visit nohn-pa.org/obstetrics.
The real estate market is always moving, and having the right guide makes all the difference. I'm Ron Chappelle, your local realtor with Century 21 Real Estate Center. I track the market every day so you don't have to. Whether you're buying or selling a home or property on the Olympic Peninsula, rely on a local experienced expert to help you make the right decisions. Get started today. We're located at 8th and Lincoln in Port Angeles. Century 21, trusted locally, connected globally.
Hey everybody, Todd here at Price Ford. And backed by popular demand, Ford has come out with the employee pricing for everyone. And I'm not talking about what I would pay as an employee. I'm talking about what the corporate employees pay. You can't buy a new Ford for less money. This offer covers almost every vehicle in the Ford lineup. So if you're in the market for a new Ford, hurry down to Price Ford right on Highway 101, right next to Walmart in Port Angeles, and we'll have a vehicle waiting for you.
It's time for Your Port of PA Today. A look inside the port and share what's in it for you.
I'm Port Commissioner Connie Beauvais. The Port of Port Angeles is excited to bring you a look inside your port and share projects designed to attract even more business and jobs to our area. Did you know the Port of PA stretches well beyond the Port Angeles Harbor? The port manages 1,000 acres of property, including John Wayne Marina and Olympic Peninsula Gemstone. The tidelands to build the marina were donated by the John Wayne family. John Wayne visited the bay aboard his yacht, the Wild Goose. John Wayne Marina, located on beautiful Squim Bay, is a gateway to and from Seattle, San Juan Islands, and Canada. Its location, plus its top-notch amenities, makes it a destination for locals and travelers alike. Email hello@portofpa.com or keep up to date on Facebook.
Back with more on the program. Many of us remember field trips sparked a lifelong appreciation, heading outdoors. And one local organization's been helping make those experiences happen maybe year-round for generations in these parts. Joining us is Cara Pat, who's development director for what is called Olympic Nature Experience. And we're going to talk with Cara all about her organization and kind of what is happening, getting us out in nature. Cara, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much.
First question is, what is Olympic Nature Experience?
Well, we are a nature school that runs our curriculum 100% of the time outside. So we don't have a firm building. We have different spots where we do our classes. And so rain or shine, we are out there teaching the kiddos.
You are literally an outdoor school.
Literally
learning about the outdoors and always outdoors.
Yes, right. Exactly.
So how does the school year work? I mean, did you run full year? How does this work if you're to sign up and be part of this?
Well, we do have a couple breaks. So we do a break at the holidays, and we do a break just between our full school year and our summer courses. So right now we're in the midst of our summer programming, which is really great. We do 2-week sessions where we've got our whole age. So our age range, which I think is a good thing to talk about, we start at 6 months and go all the way to 12 years old.
Wow.
So our adventure club is for the tiny, tiny kiddos, and that is with your parents. And so you come and hang out, probably for 2 or 3 hours. I can't remember the exact timing on that one, but it's a really great introduction to our school. It's a great way to prep those kids for early learning. And then we have our early learners, which are 3 to 5-year-olds. And then we have our skills classes. So the skills classes we have our skills 1 and our skills 2. And those kiddos are 5 to 7 for our skills 1. And then for our skills 2, we've got our 7 to 10-year-olds. And then on the newer side of our programming is our Way of the Woods. And that's really where they dive deep into primitive skill building. And those are 10 to 12-year-olds. So we run those classes all through the summer in 2-week sessions. And then once the school year starts in September, it's a full curriculum for the year.
Okay. Explain how long these kids are out there in the outdoors, what they are learning. What are you teaching them?
So we are rooted in 5 areas with our curriculum: nature awareness, emotional awareness, friend power or your community, resilience, and then problem solving and critical thinking. So we are trying to impart that in every lesson that we're giving these guys. They're outside from 9:30 in the morning till 1:30 if they're a little bit younger, and then our older kiddos get out at 2:30. Okay. So it's a good chunk of time out there. And everything is really based around a tight curriculum. So they're learning the alphabet, they're learning about numbers, and they're learning about science, plus nature skills. And then our older kids, like I mentioned, are focusing more on those primitive skills. So, bridge building and fire starting and building benches and things like that, doing hatchet work, knife work, and
Interesting.
all
All
that
right.
really cool stuff.
Right, hold your thought. We're going to take a break for some news here at the bottom of the hour. We'll come back and we'll talk a bit more on the other side of the break about the Olympic nature experience with Cara Pat, who is telling us all about how we're teaching kids some interesting skills, both physical and mental, that come with this through that organization. She's the development director for Olympic Nature Experience. Stick around. We'll check in a bit more about this and maybe how you might get involved with it in your family right after this.
Is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hello, Clallam County. This is Danny with Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels. I recently had the opportunity to assist a very elderly but very energetic woman here in our county. She had in her possession her husband's remains, who had passed years prior. She sent us a letter asking if we could help her pre-need funeral and cemetery services for herself and her deceased husband. She'd been stressing and worrying for far too long, wondering what would happen when she passed. It was such a joy to help her finalize her plans. It was so easy too. She expressed to me over and over such feelings of peace and relief now that all that was taken care of. So let us help you today to achieve that same peace of mind by planning ahead, even if it is a simple plan. We're here to serve you. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Jumpstart your exterior home project. Give Tri-State a call. Are you thinking about a new roof, siding, or windows for your home? Tri-State installs GAF roofing products, James Hardie siding, and Pella window replacements. And right now, Tri-State's offering huge savings. Call today for your free estimate. 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. You can't walk and you can't drive in a bustling part of Manhattan right now because of a skyscraper under renovation that is slightly leaning. The upper floor beams buckling at the former Pfizer building. Mayor Zoran Mamdani.
The NYPD has instituted a frozen zone from 40th to 45th Streets between 1st and 3rd Avenues. These streets have been temporarily closed off to both pedestrian and vehicular traffic.
Mamdani is joining fellow progressive Bernie Sanders in urging Graham Plattner to end his Maine Senate campaign after a former girlfriend accused him of entering her home and raping her. Iran firing on more ships today in the Strait of Hormuz, one of them a Saudi tanker, the kingdom demanding reparations. Just now, the U.S. is revoking its license that authorized the sale of Iranian oil. Oil prices back above $70 a barrel. Stocks fell on Wall Street. S&P down 33. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 68. Winds out of the northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 52. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Thursday, with daytime highs approaching 65. 63, slight chance for rain Friday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 61 Saturday, 65 Sunday, and 70 on Monday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 64.
During the break, I was talking with my guest, Cara Pat from the Olympic Nature Experience about, you're teaching some things that maybe people used to do all the time. And they're just so attached to screens now that our kids don't get outside and get their hands dirty and don't get out, as we like to say, touch grass, even though, because that's a real thing. And that's one of the experiences I think they're trying to get with the Olympic Nature Experience. That's what we're talking about here as well. Cara's actually telling me your daughter, is that daughter right?
Yeah,
is,
that's
is,
right.
Is a student.
She is.
Right,
She's
so
3, so she's in our early learning program.
And you mentioned him. You moved out here from the big city, basically, for
Sure did.
kind of this very sort of an experience.
Mm-hmm, exactly. They don't have this kind of access like we do out here on the peninsula. And it has just been so breathtaking watching her change as a 3-year-old, because 3-year-olds are tough. 3-year-olds are just tough. They've got a lot of emotions. They're growing. And the emotional regulation that she's learning in these classes, along with everything else, with her alphabet, with, like learning how to just like, and it's so seamless. And she barely even realizes that it's a classroom because she's outside surrounded by all this beauty. And now when she gets frustrated, we just go outside. And it's a gorgeous thing. And you see it with kids all the time in our programs.
You mentioned about 80 kids involved throughout various levels of this, right?
Right. Exactly.
Which I was kind of impressed. That's a pretty good number.
It's a pretty good size. Yeah. Our classes range from about 12 to 14 kiddos. And we are, especially in that like 5 to 7 range right now, there are so many kids that are 5 to 7 in this area. So we're just overflowing in that way, which is really amazing to see so many people be so passionate about wanting their kids to learn outside with us.
Now, you mentioned earlier, to get into some of these levels, you're incorporating what are, traditional education aspects, but you're kind of marrying them to these outdoor things. So, I mean, science makes sense. There's a lot of science out there. You can do that.
Right.
But maybe kind of take us through how you do some lessons in the outside that to bring it all together.
Well, it kind of depends on what classroom you're in, right? So you can do a talk about wildlife in that area because, if you're sitting in class at the Dungeness Rec area, there's deer walking through all the time. There's little lizards. There's really cool little shrews. And so it's a really great segue into learning, about biology and about what, where animals live and how they live in these habitats. If you're doing a class by the ocean, you can talk about kelp and the health of the ocean and that ecosystem. And then, our curriculums rotate. So, and we tend to do, because it's about 2 years that you'll spend in a program. So, for instance, this year, the kids focused on science as a really big portion of their curriculum. And then this coming year, they're going to be focusing a ton on math and reading.
Okay.
So you'll be seeing that a lot outside. And, simple math is always really, so I haven't actually seen any of the math classes outside, but I know our program director, Jess, is all over that.
All right. And it will be incorporated into some outdoor activities.
Yeah, they really they honestly don't even realize they're learning, and then they come home and they know more than their parents.
And that's what I was going to get at. Sometimes the best teaching is you're not realizing you're learning about numbers.
Right, exactly. Because if you're just sitting at a desk or staring at a screen learning about numbers, as opposed to counting how many waves just came through the ocean, that's what sticks. That's what makes a core memory.
So how many staff do you have to pull this off?
So we have 2 teachers per class.
Okay.
We have about 9 folks on our staff right now. We need 1 more if anybody's looking for an assistant teaching job this coming fall. But we always have a couple teachers in class, a lead teacher and an assistant teacher. And then there's myself. And then there is Jessica, who is our program director. And then we have Becky McFarland, who is our financial wizard, and she handles all administrative registration things. She's a genius.
So speaking of financials, what does it cost? There's a tuition, I imagine, attached to this for each kid.
There is. And it depends on how many classes you want to take and how you want to enroll. But it kind of varies between, if you're doing a 2-day a week or a 3-day a week, between like $300 to $500 for the whole month.
Okay. Yeah. And this is, as you mentioned, there's a lot of hours in some of these cases.
There are.
Yeah.
There are. You're in there from 9:30 to, it's a little bit longer than oftentimes kindergarten and preschool programming.
Right.
For sure. And we do also offer tuition assistance to folks.
So, and that's what I want to talk to you about is, raising money to do this. You're a nonprofit. So how are you going about that? One of the reasons you're here is to get awareness out that people know this is even an option around here.
Exactly. Because how would you know, really? And I can speak to it just from moving here 6 months ago. And the only reason I found out about Olympic Nature Experience was because they were looking for somebody to help them with their fundraising. And I found them on Indeed. And then I was like, oh my gosh, how is this even existing? So it's definitely, as a smaller school, always a bit of a challenge just trying to get it out there into the community. But we are here and we are doing it and we are educating your kiddos, and we have plenty of space for more, especially our little kids.
Okay. The website maybe someone can go to? Is that a good spot to start?
That's a really good spot to start, and it's exactly where you would register for We've got space in our summer camps right now in a few of them, and then also in some of our classes for the upcoming school year as well. And it's a super easy olympicnatureexperience.org. And you pop on there and you go into the programs, and it gives you details on all of them and links to how to get in touch with us if it's feeling confusing or convoluted. And then there is a registration button that you can just click right there.
All right. So you got a business out there, somebody, this is grabbing them, they want to support you. Can we contact you through the website? What's a good thing if there's somebody in the community that says, hey, I don't have a kid that can get in this, but I'd like to support what they're doing?
Oh, that would be great. We actually do have a join us and donate section on our website. So you can just go straight through the website at, again, olympicnatureexperience.org. And there is a place that you can set up a donation. You can become a reoccurring donor. We do a lot of really cool fundraising. We just had a really rad benevolent night at Angela's Tap Room where we did charity bingo. In September, we're going to be at Yodelin for a benevolent night as well. And we're doing a really fun, family-friendly event at the end of September at Lincoln Park. So there's all sorts of times that you can show up and take part.
What's going to happen at Lincoln Park? You got any details? You can maybe give a couple?
We're calling it Roots and Revelry.
Okay.
It's going to be on September 26th between 2 and 6 o'clock, so a little bit earlier. Everybody is welcome. We're going to have some really fun lawn games. There's going to be food and drinks. We're going to do a silent auction and a raffle. We're probably going to do a scavenger hunt. And I'm working on what I'd like to call a Renaissance human competition, but where some, like, we'll just do like one for kids and one for adults, and maybe it'll be like a sack race and, you know, who can make the best box of mac and cheese, and then a nature portrait and a nature arrangement.
Interesting. Yes.
Things like that.
I love that Renaissance thing. That's a clever idea. That's a clever idea. All right. Still room if you want to get involved in some of your summer programs as well. And if you just want to check it out, get in touch with the folks at Olympic Nature Experience. Honestly, I didn't even know you guys existed around here until you wandered in here one day and I went, wait a minute, this is a school that's operating here? So I really do appreciate having you come in, talking a little bit about what's happening with them. That's Cara Pat, who's, and welcome to the community. I guess I should say that as well. You've only been here 6 months and you're fully engaged. She is the development director for Olympic Nature Experience, and the website again is olympicnatureexperience.org.
That's right.
Yeah. I'll go over there, check it out, and sign your kids up, or at least find out more about what's going on with this school.
Please do. Thank you so much for having me
absolutely.
on the show.
That's Cara Pat there. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk with Sam Grisman, who's back in town for a performance at Field Arts and Events Hall coming up a little bit later this month. We'll chat with him right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, it's Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. Community matters, and that's why we're proud to support Todd Ortloff and local voices that keep us connected. If you want insurance advice from real neighbors, stop by our office on Peabody Street. Real people helping real people right here at home.
Dan Shappy and Farmers Insurance is proud to sponsor the Todd Ortloff Show every Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Looking for the perfect place to enjoy your next chapter? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim, featuring beautiful, affordable homes for active 55-plus living. Enjoy modern, low-maintenance living, plus pickleball courts, a community garden, and clubhouse gatherings.
Hey folks, this is Courtney over at Lavender Meadows. We hope to see you soon to check out our 8 new floor plans. Don't forget to ask us about our lease-to-own options.
Come home to Lavender Meadows. Visit lavendermeadowsmhc.com. Got an old wood stove or fireplace insert you'd like to remove? Orca offers financial incentives to get rid of those smoky old burners. Receive $500 just to recycle an old wood stove, and get up to $2,200 if you convert to an electric heat pump, ducted or ductless, and $1,000 if you replace that old wood burner with a pellet stove or electric fireplace. Visit orcaa.org for more details.
Losing a loved one is overwhelming. Your mind and your heart shut down. That's where Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory comes in. They took the burden off my family's shoulders and guided us through everything we needed to do. No pushy sales tactics or unanswered questions. They just held our hands and took care of everything we asked. That's why I will always recommend Drennan and Ford for end-of-life decisions. They handle the hurt like no one else can. Call 360-457-1210.
Your birth experience should feel like yours. Come meet the midwives who can make that happen. Meet Our Midwives is a free monthly open house at Olympic Medical Center where you can get to know our certified nurse midwives, tour our birth center, and start planning the birth that feels right for you. Join us the first Tuesday of every month at 5:30 p.m. in the Olympic Memorial Hospital Sunroom. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/meetourmidwives.
Hi, this is Joe with Spudbreakers Baked and Loaded Spuds. We're all digging in Tuesday through Sunday with new late hours Friday and Saturday. Online orders and delivery available, or come to the trailer located on the corner of 8th and Lincoln, Port Angeles. Try our 2-pound overloaded spud or the new smoked beef brisket mac and cheese option, the one and done.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Field Arts and Events Hall welcoming back the Sam Grisman Project on July 10th, 7:30 p.m. It's an encore performance. We had Sam back in town last year, and we've talked with him back then, and this time he's back, and he's going to feature special guest Danny Barnes. And Sam joins us on the phone today. Good afternoon, Sam. Thanks for taking some time out.
Good afternoon. Hey, Todd. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you again as well. Let's, for those who don't know much about Sam Grisman, of course, you're following somewhat in your father's footsteps, and you've put your own project together, but you have a lot of influence of like Grateful Dead and some of that acoustic kind of folk rocky sort of stuff going on as well. So describe a bit about your past for those who know nothing about Sam Grisman, and then how you launched into the project that you have now.
Sure. Well, I'm a bass player. I have been one my whole life. I came by it pretty honest. I was born to a dream. My father is a legendary mandolinist who lives up here on the Olympic Peninsula. His name is David Grisman, and he pioneered a genre of music that we call dog music today.
Yep.
And that is sort of just a confluence of a bunch of his influences as a musician, like parts of bluegrass, parts of jazz, and sort of string band musics of all kinds from all around the world, including sort of hot club swing from France and choro music from Brazil, from the great Jacob de Bandoline. And he's one of the world's great mandolinists and one of the world's great composers, and he's one of my best friends, and it's an honor to get to spend some time with my band and my dad, and every time we're up in the Pacific Northwest, it seems like we get a little opportunity to do some of that.
Absolutely.
Learning some of his music straight from the source is sort of the best use of our time. So we're going to do some of that over the next couple of days. And you mentioned a little earlier the great Danny Barnes, and that's another legendary resident of the peninsula here, who's another hero of all of ours in my band. He's one of my favorite songwriters and multi-instrumentalists, and he's an amazing cartoonist. I actually own about 100 Danny Barnes paintings. But yeah, we're going to play some of Danny's music in the middle of our show here on Friday, and we're really looking forward to that. He actually did the poster art for the show, and I think we'll have some for sale at the gig. And
how about that?
Just looking forward to playing for everybody.
I asked you this last time we had you on, what it was like to kind of sit in the living room with some of these great musicians that, just kind of came and hang out with your dad. That's kind of, I guess in some ways looking back, you must be a bit in awe on the fact that you literally had people rubbing off on you that were great musicians in their own right back in the day.
Yeah, I'm just about the luckiest kid I can think of. I got to spend time around my house as a little kid, casually listening to the brilliance of people like Martin Taylor and Doc Watson, John Hartford, Tony Rice, Jerry Garcia, Edgar Meyer. I mean, the list really goes on forever. Some of my biggest musical heroes and influences later in life, like the great Mike Seeger, I got to spend time around when I was a little tyke, like a little leaguer.
Yeah.
So,
how about that?
I didn't have any other experience to compare it to. So it was sort of a normal one for me. But looking back on it, I do feel profoundly blessed. That's for sure.
Well, and certainly all of that has rubbed off because you have put together a phenomenal project as well. So tell us a bit more about the July 10th show. You mentioned that Danny Barnes is going to be with you as well. You've got a whole group of musicians. They're all high quality musicians. What are you going to be? I guess is it going to be a theme to this show or not?
Well, yeah. There's always a theme to our shows, I suppose. It's a rotating collective of musicians, but I try to hire bands. Comprised of my closest friends who would want to be in a particular region in a particular time of year. And so I've got my dear old friend Alex Hargraves, who's from Corvallis, Oregon, who's been playing with Philly strings for the last, 3 or 4 years. But he's going to be out here with us on the 10th, playing the violin, playing the fiddle. And then we'll have my dear friend Matt Smith, who's a cello player from Mississippi, who I've been playing music with since we were, teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be playing the cello. And one of my oldest and dearest friends, Mr. Dominic Leslie, will be playing the mandolin. The four of us, the three guys that I just mentioned and myself, we used to have a band called the Brotet.
I like that.
Myself and Alex Hargraves, Matt Smith, and Dominic Leslie, much to the chagrin of our parents, we decided to call our band the Brotet, and our friendship has far outlived the longevity of that particular ensemble. But we'll be joined by my dear young friend who plays most of the gigs in this band. His name is Victor Tortado, and he's the world's greatest improvising clawhammer banjo player, and a really just a sweet kid and just genuine human being who blows my mind on a nightly basis. And he's also one of Danny Barnes' favorite young musicians. So it'll be fun to get them together to play some double banjos.
Yeah.
And then we've got my dear friend Max Flansburgh playing guitar in the outfit. He's from the Finger Lakes outside of Rochester, New York. It's just a really talented young singer, songwriter, and guitar player. And haven't had the opportunity to bring him up to the peninsula yet. So Max is with us, as well as my dear old friend Todd Livingston, who's one of my favorite dobro players and favorite humans, and regularly plays in this band. So it's sort of a large format expression of what we do, and we're just happy to be in the Pacific Northwest for the weekend.
Now, one of the things about your concerts, you got a lot of improvisation that happens in this as well. How much do you plan out, and then how much do you just let it happen on stage?
We pretty much just let it all happen.
Mm-hmm.
I do write a set list for each show, which sometimes we change pretty dramatically, but sometimes program at least with regard to what songs we're going to play. But I don't tell anybody how to play this music. I kind of hire all these guys because I enjoy their individuality and the way that they approach the music. So I want everybody to sound like themselves. And I guess the main thing is that we're just constantly listening to each other and trying to serve the song that we're playing. So nobody's trying to play anything that distracts from the message of the song, or we're all kind of working towards the same goal, which is to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves, and the audience is a big part of that too. So,
and as an audience, it's really fun to just watch something evolve and develop right in front of you, and I think that's the biggest part of the show. To be honest with you.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening as much as you guys don't know what's happening. So we're truly all in the same boat, and it's a privilege to get to do this for a living.
Absolutely.
It's not lost on me how special it is to get to travel around with the people I love.
Well,
the thing that we love to do.
Sam, welcome back home, I guess we can say that, since you're up visiting family while you're here as well, and we're excited to have you back on Friday at Field Arts and Events Hall. I think there's a few tickets still available. I'll just tell people to get over to the Field Arts and Events Hall's website and get them while they last, and you'll be in for a treat. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Field Hall here in Port Angeles. The Sam Grisman Project is back, and we're going to play out with a little bit of Sam Grisman music as well. And thanks again, Sam, for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Todd. Appreciate you very much.
All right.
It's been a long, hard year, all the goodbyes and the tears, and the smoke keeps on rising. California disappears, it all disappears. Well, the streets have been busy, no songs left unsung. Turn the radio up, mama, I think we have one. On one accord, who? There's red and there's blue, and rainbows held up high, and eagles that still fly. Praise God, pass the bread, not afraid to shed however many grains straight through the head. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty. For those with the privilege, may I say this bitterly. It's been a long, hard year, all the goodbyes and the tears, and the smoke keeps on rising. California disappears, it all disappears. So put your seatbelts on, click. We are going through the thick, thin and the wise, the guilt in our eyes. Well, it must be almost over. It's hard.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, May Graves here with Squim Real Estate Market Pros. A quick market update. We are in a balanced market officially. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but for the month of April, in Squim, we sold 45 homes. In 2025, there were 49. The median home price in Squim for April 2026 was $569,000. Shocker, last year was $599, so prices have come down just a bit. Median days on market this year, 29. Last year, only 9. For Port Angeles, in April 2026, we sold 35 homes. Last year, 39. Median home price is up a bit to $440,000. Last year, only $427. Median days on market this year, 22. Last year, just about a third of that. If you want more information on buying or selling, call me, May Graves, a Real Estate Market Pros.
First Fed is proud of their 100-year tradition of giving back to the Clallam and Jefferson County community. The First Fed Foundation supports local organizations building a brighter future for the disadvantaged and the marginalized persons and families in Clallam and Jefferson County. Partnering with nonprofits like Peninsula Behavioral Health, supporting construction of 36 permanent, affordable supportive housing units for chronically homeless individuals and families in Port Angeles. The foundation also supports Serenity House of Clallam County and the West End Housing Resource Center, giving the ability to serve more of Clallam County's low-income and homeless population. The First Fed Foundation is committed to supporting nonprofits, tribes, school districts, and government agencies, providing critical, timely assistance and ensuring a brighter future for our community.
Since 2011, Grocery Outlet has held their annual Independence from Hunger food drive every July. Head to Grocery Outlet in Port Angeles from now through the end of the month to partake in their 16th annual Independence from Hunger food drive. All proceeds are distributed directly to the Port Angeles Food Bank as well as the PA School District Food Insecurity Program. There are several different ways to participate. Donate $5 or more in a single transaction and receive a coupon for $5 off a future purchase of $25 or more. Purchase a pre-made bag of groceries to be put in the collection bin at the store, or donate online by visiting groceryoutlet.com/donate and choosing the Port Angeles store. Support our locally owned and operated grocery outlet right here in Port Angeles as they support our community. Follow them on Facebook at Port Angeles Grocery Outlet to learn more. Located on East Highway 101.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
The North Peninsula's news, the North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Pressure builds on Graham Plattner to exit the U.S. Senate race in Maine after an ex-girlfriend came forward to say he entered her home uninvited, nearly blackout drunk, and sexually assaulted her. Calls for his exit now also include fellow progressives Bernie Sanders and New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
The focus of today should be to respond to the gravity of what so many of us have read. And I think that the only appropriate response is for the campaign to come to an end.
New chaos in the Strait of Hormuz has oil 5% higher. Iran fired on 3 commercial tankers today and warned the U.S. not to retaliate. Evacuations in Manhattan from what appears to be a leaning skyscraper, as observed by ABC's Aaron Katursky, just outside of the evacuation zone on 42nd Street.
The chief of department for the FDNY said they are using specialized equipment to monitor even millimeter movements of the building and notice that it is moving. So it is not structurally sound. It is unsafe. And until it is deemed safe, this building and a number of others around here are all evacuated.
Charlie Kirk's accused assassin appears to be the person in a video played at a pretrial hearing today in Provo, Utah. ABC's Alex Stone is there.
These images showed who police are saying